Hey everybody, it's Double RPG here, and welcome back to another episode of Double RPG Let's Play with Golden Sun on the Game Boy Advance. In today's episode, we're going to resume where we left off, and we're going to go through Crossbone Isle again, but this time we're going to go through floors or basements 3 through 6. So, anyway, let's go ahead and get on with this episode that is already in progress, shall we? And as you can tell, we're fighting against some more of these side bosses, and we should be able to defeat them and then get through to the inside of the 3rd floor basement. So we have a couple of fiendish ghouls and a lich. So how's everybody doing today? Hope you all are enjoying your lovely Tuesday. And to be honest, I didn't know if I was going to have this episode up or not, because back yesterday, YouTube seemed to undergo a glitch to where my video was declared rejected as it was too long. But then I uploaded the video again, and evidently now the video is just fine as it is. So, for some odd reason, I don't know what happened, so it doesn't really matter. And if this is a problem that continues to occur throughout the whole time I'm at YouTube, then YouTube's gonna have to get their act straight if they want to finish up or rectify the situation. Because, you know, I'm not gonna take it with them. Or with this type of glitch happening ever again. It needs to stop. Yeah, so I didn't even think it was going to get through, but evidently it did. And I kind of was I was kind of led up to a rude awakening yesterday. Or yeah, I kind of woke myself up to a rude awakening yesterday. And you want to know why? Well, I'm sure some of you people who read manga are pretty sure, or are very certain of what I am talking about. And I'm talking about the website Manga Stream. I'm sure you're familiar with them for putting out weekly Shonen Jump manga on their site with them with scanlations and all that. They have announced yesterday that they will no longer be supporting or releasing any newer chapters of their of the weekly Shonen Jump properties, such as Naruto, Bleach, One Piece, D. Greyman, Katekyo Hitman Reborn, and some of those others. So, yeah, Manga Stream got hit with some cease and desist orders from Viz Media, the people who currently own the properties of the manga franchises that they have on them right now. And, you know, I would say good things about this, but I'm kind of mixed about this. I'm kind of against it, but at the same time, it's something that's understandable because, you know, Naruto, Bleach, and One Piece, they're all owned by Viz Media, so it's their own property. And when people put up scanlations online, they're getting themselves in the risk of getting a cease and desist order from the property owners. And when that happens, if they don't abide by the cease and desist order, then lawsuits will ensue and people will get sued. And it's not even a good thing whatsoever. So, yeah. And the reason why I'm kind of, you know, I was kind of miffed at this at first is because I like to read the Naruto manga every week when there's a new chapter that comes out. I mean, I was always following Sleepy Fans at first, and then I followed Manga Stream next because they took up their shoes in putting out the manga chapters every month. And I always constantly was anticipating what new chapter was going to come out, and I just wanted to know all the inside information as to what happens and all that stuff, so that way I can be fully notified as to, you know, what's going to happen next, or get into the predictions of what might happen next or whatever. And evidently, the Naruto manga got itself into one part to where I was like, you're gonna I'm saying to Viz Media, you're hitting him a freak with the cease and desist order now when it's just getting really, really good? Oh boy. But at the same time, it is understandable because, as I said, you put up something that doesn't belong to you, you're bound to be caught. And it's not very cool when you put stuff up like that on the internet. I mean, it's just, it's in the form of piracy, kind of like how the government was trying to pass SOPA and PIPA, even though it got banned because of, or it got put aside because of the massive protests that the people had because it would affect internet jobs and all that stuff, which I was not for SOPA and PIPA, which I've been telling you guys about, and it's just, but this, it's kind of not cool for, manga to be distributed like that. I mean, sure, you're putting it out for free, but then again, when it's owned by people, then you're in the risk of getting slapped with legal fees and all that. But as I said, when I said I was perturbed by this, that does not mean that Viz Media is going to get away with this scot-free either, because I think their biggest fault, well, most anime and manga distribution companies like Viz Media, Bandai Entertainment, and even Funimation, I think the reason why they, the reason why they hit the cease and desist orders, or why they protect their own, or why, piracy happens with the scanlations of manga that appear on the internet, it's because the property owners are behind with the times, and they need to be up with the times when the original version is released in a particular country. I mean, I know the Naruto manga and anime is very, very far ahead of the Western world, and I think it's one of the things that, that the Western distributors and the translators and all that, or the localization teams, they need to be up front and be in with the times with trying to get their stuff out, because people do not want to wait a long time before the new chapter comes out, and they will be totally behind with what is all going on. And I know that Bandai Entertainment said that they announced recently that they're no longer going to distribute their DVDs. They're not going to put out any more DVDs or anything of their own properties on sale, and instead they're going to go towards digital distribution. And it just comes to the point too, Bandai, do you seriously want your own stuff to be pirated? Because, when you leave yourself in a big opening to where you're going to be behind with the times, and people are going to be up with the times, so that way they can satisfy people's needs, so that way they know what's happening, as well as what the original version of what the original country knows what's going on within a certain property. So yeah, and I do believe that you are taking the right steps with doing stuff like Viz Manga, which now got transformed into, it got transformed into, like I said, Viz Manga got transformed into Weekly Shonen Jump Alpha, which is a web app to where you can actually read the newest chapters of the Shonen Jump manga that appears every week. But then again, I'm not even sure if Viz Media and Weekly Shonen Jump are behind with the times on those. They could be, but it's kind of hard to say at the moment, so I can't really say for certain. But, it's just, people seriously have got to be up with the times, or else we're not going to be able to see what is all going on. It's just, just be up front and be there with the times, and that way, and if you do digital distribution, then since you are a business, if you put out like $1 or $2 for a chapter every week, that shows that you're doing good business, because you're bound to gain a lot of loyal people up front, and constantly just watching you and all that stuff. So yeah, if you do that kind of stuff, then you're guaranteed to satisfy a lot of people, and that way you won't even have to wait a long time to try to get certain chapters out, because the longer you take, the more people are going to resort to this type of stuff. And as I said, I'm not for piracy, but if some person or something is taking too long, then people are just not going to be very satisfied with a business's practice. So yeah, there's got to be more to it, guys. You got to do more than just leaving people at a halt or whatever, because they need to be notified ahead of time, just like the Japanese. They get notified ahead of time because it's the originality of the origin of the certain manga franchises. So yeah, so I think it was something that you know, with this whole thing with Manga Stream getting hit with a cease and desist order, I think it was something that they knew it was coming, and it was something that they could not potentially avoid in the future, and it's just, I think it was pretty much a wake-up call for them to, you know, not distribute this stuff online. Although, some people may ask me, will this probably be the last time we will see Naruto manga or Bleach manga? And speaking of Bleach, it's already entered its final story arc, so, and that's another thing that people were kind of hyped up about, because the Bleach manga is now in its final arc, and it's going to possibly conclude at the end of this year or sometime. Hope it doesn't take 5 years, because that whole thing with going through Hueco Mundo to the war with the Shinigami versus the Arrancar and Aizen and all them, it took about 5 years, and I really hope that the current and final chapter, or the current and final arc in the storyline doesn't even take that long either, but we'll have to see. But yeah, so some people would say, is this the last we're going to see of those properties online? You know, from people who like to put out scanlations. Well, as much as I hate to say this, but I probably would say that it's not going to be the last time, because I think what's going to happen is that somebody else is going to come in and they're going to pick up where Manga Stream left off, and everything is, and then people are going to start to read them too, and then once Viz Media or any of those companies take notice of the properties that are being put out, then they're going to hit by cease and desist orders too, and then somebody else is going to come in, and then Viz Media is going to do the same thing all over again. So it's an ongoing effect. I mean, it's a double-edged sword. I mean, when a secret group does something, then the official property owner is going to take action. But when that action is taken, then another group is going to come in, and they're going to resume where that previous secret group left off. So yeah, it's an ongoing effect, and it's one that's kind of hard to do, unless if Viz Media was up front with the times and caught up with Japan at this moment, then there would be no need to have to see scanlations online from outside parties, because because Viz Media would be gaining a loyal fan base, and they would make sure that nobody's being left behind with the times and all that. I mean, take a look at some animes even. I mean, take a look at how far behind we are with the Naruto Shippuden anime series, and even Bleach, and even One Piece, and even, how long has Fairy Tail, the anime of the manga property, how long has that been on TV? How long has that been ongoing in Japan before Funimation got their hands on it? It's been quite a while. Yeah, I know. So, yeah, there's got to be a bit more union between both Japan and the West, because if this whole thing where the West, if they continue to be slow and unresponsive to being caught up with Japan, and if Japan doesn't do well, if they don't do their part to distribute their properties ahead of time, then it's just going to leave a lot more problems down the road, and it's something that people are not going to be taking lightly, with them still being behind with the times. And it's just, I know it's just, you guys got to be caught up. I mean, sure, look at us with just take a look at how far along we've gotten with, distributing, with games and with the digital distribution of them. And of course, I'm not that really big in favor of digital distribution in any way, but, when you do stuff like this, I mean, if you do stuff for the easier things like manga and potentially anime, like how Bandai is doing it on YouTube and all, then you're gonna satisfy a loyal fan base in the future, and they're gonna want to continue to watch your stuff. But don't just take too long and let somebody else do your dirty work when you should be caught up with the times. So yeah, that's my little rant right there, and I know I should have been talking about what's going on in Golden Sun at the moment, but But for Golden Sun's case, I think it's pretty self-explanatory since you all see what is all going on. But I think these were some things that I wanted to address really quick because there's a huge base of people who like to watch anime and read manga online. But of course, when they do stuff like that, then they're always prone to possibly get, you know, for people who put out the stuff, they're prone to get hit with, you know, legal action, potentially. So, yeah. But anyways, I guess I made my point across, and like I said, it's sure manga stream is probably gone, but I think somebody else is gonna resume where they left off, and then the whole process is gonna repeat all over again. But we'll just have to see how far things go on from here. Actually, now that I think about it, is this the third? I think this is the third floor, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, not the third floor, but the fifth floor. I can't remember. I mean, since I was so caught up in talking, I think this is actually the fifth floor, because or could it be? Oh, wait a minute. You know what? I think it is the sixth floor because if you count that top part where we started out in that top part when we started out in Crossbone Isle, then yeah, that counts as floor 1, and when we went down a floor, that was the second floor basement. So, yeah, we would be in the 6th floor basement right now, so evidently we went through basements 4 through 6, so I do apologize for that. I thought we were so far caught up with everything else that we would be where we could still keep going with this, but evidently I don't think we're going to have enough time to finish up with Golden Sun this Friday. Probably Saturday is going to be the finale, and we're going to have to skip doing Super Mario World 2 Yoshi's Island until next weekend. So, yeah. But anyway, let's go ahead and just keep doing what we're doing. Evidently, as you can see, I'm just pushing these logs and trying to build a pathway for this, so that way we can actually create this path to where we can travel forward to reach the other side of this little underground lake, so that way we can make it to the exit and we can go down another floor. There's not a whole lot going on in this video. I thought we'd probably get to a new gene or something by now, but evidently that's not the case. I wonder how we're gonna do this. There's gotta be a trick. Oh, wait a minute, I think there is a trick, so let's go ahead and try this again. Or actually, I think we want to do it this way first. Because I think if we do this, we will actually create a bridge. Yeah, here we go. Now we're using our thinking caps. Very nice. Okay, we're going to go hit that flood switch again, and then we will jump over the logs, and we will make it to the other side. Okay. That is shut. And now, it's time for us to mosey on out of here. Okay, so floors 4, or is it 3 through 5? No, it is 4 through 6, the basements. So, or 3. Gosh, I can't even remember now. I'll have to do some research and figure out where we are, and then I will showcase it in the description for this episode. But anyway, enough talking from me in this episode because it's time to close things off here. So next time on RRPG Let's Play with Golden Sun on the Game Boy Advance, we're going to resume where we left off, and we are going to go through the next few floors of the Crossbone Isle. Okay, gamers, take care of yourselves, and I shall see you tomorrow for another episode. See you guys then.